The Humane Society of Harford County offers humane treatment for animals that are lost, abandoned, or stray through education, care, support, and adoptions. How are they handling things during the COVID-19 pandemic, and what can we do as a community to help? That's coming up in the next 30 minutes. I'm Christy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. Jen Swanson is the Executive Director of the Harford County Humane Society. How are they holding up during the pandemic? What are they doing to keep things afloat? And what can we do as a community to help them along the way? Jen is here to give us all the details. Hi, Jen.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Jen, what are some of the major challenges and changes that we've seen at the Humane Society since March? I imagine there's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of our largest operational changes have just been in our enhanced daily cleaning protocols, everyone wearing masks, social distancing, all of that good stuff that everyone has to do right now. But in addition to that, we've had to cancel pretty much all of our fundraising activities, or at least our events. Our last fundraising event was in November of last year. We haven't been able to have anything since. We do have our golf tournament coming up in September, which we're very thankful to be able to do. But in addition to that, our fundraising income is down in general because so many people being out of work or being unsure about their financial position, not being comfortable making donations. In addition to that, we've got no training classes. We usually have dog training classes happening at the shelter. We can't do those. Behavior consultations we're not able to do. One of our biggest challenges was for a brief period of time, the Maryland Department of Agriculture told organizations like ours and veterinary clinics that they could not perform elective surgeries. And so that includes spay and neuter operations. So we were not able to perform spay and neuter operations on our animals for a period of time. Thankfully, we are now, but that was definitely a challenge and a real concern for all of us here at the shelter. PPE and other supply shortages have been a challenge as well, particularly with nitrile gloves, isolation gowns, and things that are typically used for human medicine. There had been some restrictions for a while, and we're starting to see that again now. In fact, this week we've had a really hard time getting nitrile gloves, which we need for every single day, all day long, for all of our staff to use. In addition to that, no volunteers have been able to come in since March, so it's just been staff here at the shelter. We are operating on an appointment-only basis for adoptions and surrenders and other services. So it's been a big change just from a daily operations standpoint and an overall operations standpoint, and not knowing when it's going to end has also been a challenge.
Now, I have been seeing your emails and your social media appeals. How has the community responded to that? Have they been helpful?
They've been amazing. I have to tell you, I put out a post about our pet food pantry being low on food, and within 24 hours, we had our lobby full of bags of food that people had come to drop off. And then within a couple days, the Amazon and the Chewy deliveries started coming. And we had 3 Amazon trucks on the first day with 286 boxes of donated food. It was amazing.
That is amazing.
It was great. And so we found that, if we just ask, people are willing to help us, want to help the animals. So we just ask and we receive.
Did you apply for any of the COVID relief programs such as the Paycheck Protection Program?
We did apply for the Paycheck Protection Program, and thankfully we did receive that, but it was spent very quickly. We received $137,200, which sounds like a lot, but it goes very quickly. So that has been spent. So we're hoping that there will be some more relief packages. If possible, we will apply for them. But other than that, we have not received any other grant funding from the state or federal levels.
Now, as you said, it's not a lot of money when you consider how much it costs to operate the shelter. Just to give our viewers an idea, what is your annual operating budget?
It is $1.3 million a year to run this shelter.
How is the staff handling things?
They're doing really great. I've been so proud of them, how they've come together to work through this crisis as a team. I think sometimes of myself as like a mother hen, and it's just been great to see everyone come together, support each other, support the community, and respond to this as professionals.
Now, this is a tough question to ask, and I'm sure it's even harder to do. Have you had to lay anyone off?
We didn't, thankfully.
Wow.
We didn't. And that's in large part to that Paycheck Protection Program and the support of the community coming and making donations to help keep us afloat.
Now, Jen, this is a hot topic, and this is something I'd like to know personally as well. Can animals get coronavirus?
So this is obviously a hot topic. Honestly, there are many types of coronavirus, and cats in particular are very susceptible to them. There has been no evidence that animals can transmit COVID-19 to humans, although there have been some animals, domestic pets and wild animals, that have tested positive. They are still doing research into that, but there's been no evidence that animals can transmit it to humans.
Jen, what changes do you think will remain in place for a while, and do you think there's any that could be permanent?
It's hard to say what's going to change or what may stay the same. Right now, it is looking like for a while now, we're going to be keeping our doors locked to the public, unfortunately, and operating by appointment only, using our Ring doorbell at the front door, those kind of things. Certainly, our cleaning protocols are going to stay in place for a very, very long time.
Jen, thank you so much again for having us out here, and what a great job you're doing to help all the animals here in Harford County.
Thank you so much. And it's really the whole community can be thanked, because without them, none of it would be possible.
Well, how the community can help, we're going to hear more about that next. How can you donate, and what are your donation dollars going towards? That's straight ahead. Erin Long is the marketing director here at the Harford County Humane Society. How are they dealing with marketing during these difficult times? What can we do to help? What can we do to reach out? Erin is here to tell us all about it. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Christy.
Erin, how has the marketing strategy for adopted animals changed since the pandemic began? How are you handling that?
It hasn't changed all that much, I don't think, in my opinion. We still have, our website that people go to look at the animals, which is harfordshelter.org. And we're still using, social media to its full advantage. And, I think, though, that the way that marketing adoptable pets has really changed is that people aren't coming here and they're not, walking through the kennels and looking through the cages at the animals and making that connection that way. So we have really begun focusing a lot more on having really adorable pictures of the animals and taking videos for our website and writing just what we hope are really compelling profiles of the animals to have on our website, so that people can make the connections virtually, that way through the computer, because they can't come here and just walk through the shelter, because we've been open by appointment only since I think early April.
And what ways are you using social media to bring the dollars in?
So what we started doing is a thing called Feel Good $5 Friday. And so it kind of came about, we had these baskets and donations and gift cards and things that were donated to us that we were going to raffle off at some of our signature events that unfortunately had to be canceled. And I looked around and I thought, people need to win these things. The gift cards are going to expire, and and we could raise some money that way. So we started every Friday. We put a new prize up on Facebook, and people can buy raffle tickets, and it's good for a week. And then the following Friday on Facebook Live, we draw the winner, and then we announce the next prize, and it starts all over again. So every Friday, and we've been doing this for about 4 weeks, and it's going really, really well. And it's engaging people, and we're raising funds, and it's just a win-win for everybody.
Now, I know the Humane Society helps pet owners in need through the food pantry. How exactly does the food pantry work?
Any resident of Harford County that is having trouble feeding a pet can come to the shelter during our normal business hours, 11 to 6 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturdays, and 12 to 4 on Sundays. And they can come and get a month's worth of food for their cat or for their dog, just to help them, get through whatever it is they're going through. Mm-hmm. And it's a wonderful program, so people don't have to make that gut-wrenching decision of, how am I going to feed my pet? What am I going to do? Because, the best place for the animal is in the home where they belong.
What kind of food items do you need for the pantry? And specifically, are there any items that you do not want?
We definitely want pet food that has not been opened. We definitely want pet food that's within the expiration date. And we do not want food that has been manufactured outside of the U.S. So those are the stipulations.
Is there a way to drop things off for the wish list or the pantry contact-free, or can it be shipped to the Humane Society?
Yes and yes. Yes, you're welcome to drop donations off here at the shelter again during our normal, regular business hours that I mentioned. And if you need a donation receipt, we do have a cart outside of the door, so you can just drop it during our normal business hours and leave. Or if you need a receipt, we do have a doorbell that we installed since the pandemic began. And one of our staff is happy to assist you with a no-contact drop-off. We'll get you a donation receipt for taxes.
Erin, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
And don't forget, they are selling a ton of merchandise online, harfordshelter.org. You can get tank tops, hoodies, coffee mugs, t-shirts, and all the proceeds go to the Harford County Humane Society. Coming up next, we're going to learn more about microchipping and why it's so important for your pet. Nikki Myers is a veterinary technician here at the Harford County Humane Society. She's going to talk to us today about the importance of microchipping your pet, why you should do it, and how you should do it. Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Nikki, what challenges has the veterinarian team faced since the pandemic began?
We have had a shortage of personal protective equipment. So when we use our disposable isolation gowns, that's where we've kind of seen a little bit of a challenge. We try to preserve them as much as possible, but we do have instances where we need to use PPE, but we've tried our best to preserve as much as possible. So I think that's our biggest challenge.
What is a typical day like in the department now as opposed to before the pandemic began?
Not much has changed for us in our department. We're still doing intakes with the animals every day, which includes microchipping and vaccines, deworming, flea and tick medications, and a visit with our veterinarian.
What exactly is a foster visit? What does it entail?
Sure. So whenever we have our fosters come in, we do a lot of routine care right now. A lot of our fosters are really, really good at tracking weights and feeding the nutrition that they need to, keeping that good balance. But as far as boosters and things like that, they're getting that on a daily basis. So a lot of that is what we do, making sure that our kittens are growing up pretty well.
Now, I understand that you microchip all pets from the shelter. And for someone that's reclaiming a pet from the Humane Society, you offer free microchipping for them as well, right?
We do. So any pet that comes in as a stray, or if it's found and brought in through a Good Samaritan Animal Control, we offer free microchipping to them so that they can, in the future, if that pet ever gets lost again, they can bring them either to a Humane Society like us. If Animal Control picks them up, they take them to a veterinary clinic or an emergency hospital. Everybody pretty much has those abilities to scan and a universal scanner. So as long as the chip information links back to you, we will find your pet and get it back to you and reunite you.
How does a microchip work? And what happens if you move? What do you do then?
So this is implanted. This is a little microchip, and it doesn't work like GPS necessarily, but like I said, you can have your pet scanned if it's, just to keep up with the information, or if it's brought in as a stray. The first thing we do is scan it, and it's about the size of a grain of rice, and it is implanted between the shoulder blades on our pets.
Is microchipping at all painful for the pets?
It really isn't. The pets don't have to be under sedation at all to receive a microchip. It's implanted with a larger gauge needle, but it's pretty quick and painless.
Now, is there a way to make changes to the microchipping? I mean, what if you move and you have to change your information?
Foundanimals.org is a website where you can go and update the information as much as you need to keep your pets located. Anytime they either get out or you move, any of that information can be updated with that website.
What are a few things that you think all pet owners should know about maintaining their pet's good health?
Flea and tick preventative, especially during the hotter months of summer, is really, really important, but having it year-round is very important.
Nikki, just briefly walk us through the importance of microchipping. Why should every pet be microchipped?
So the three main reasons that anybody should microchip their pet is number one, house fire. If anything should happen where you are away from your pet or there's any sort of trauma or accident happening, the microchip is a good way to get your pet back to you and for people to notify you of where your pet is at if they are encased without you. A car accident is another good instance. If the animal flees the scene, they're going to take off with that sort of adrenaline and panic. You may not see them again unless the pet is chipped and somebody happens to find them and take them, like I said, to an animal hospital, to a shelter where they can be scanned and reunited with you as soon as possible. Robbery would be the third instance. And in case your pet is taken away from you, if somebody breaks into your home, takes your pet, and somewhere along the line gets them treatment medically at a veterinary hospital, they're going to scan your pet anyway if they haven't seen that pet before. So any new incoming pets, they're going to scan. So they may catch something that wouldn't ordinarily be caught.
Now, Nikki, real quickly, can you just demonstrate how easy it is to scan the microchip?
Absolutely. So once the chip is implanted underneath the skin, the microchip itself is scanned with our microchip scanner, and that number when we scan is what's going to lead us to our owner.
Small price to pay for our pets who are just like everybody else. They're like family to us.
Absolutely.
So what is the importance of fostering a pet and how can you do that? That's straight ahead. Bridget White is the foster coordinator here at the Humane Society, and I'm so excited because she let me hold this adorable furry friend that she has with her. Bridget, introduce us.
This is Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks is about 4 weeks old, so she'll be available for adoption in the next month when she reaches 2 pounds and gets spayed.
Now, animals are continuing to come in during the pandemic. How are you handling that? You're doing adoptions by appointment only?
We do. We have a lot of underage kittens in foster right now that'll be back when they're 8 weeks old to get spayed or neutered and be put up for adoption here.
What is the difference between fostering an animal and adopting an animal?
When you adopt an animal, you're taking that animal home and making a forever commitment. When you foster an animal, you're giving us a temporary commitment. It could be anywhere from a couple of days to 8 weeks.
Why is it important to foster?
When you foster, you're saving 2 lives. You're saving the life of the animal that you're taking home to foster, and you're saving the life of the animal who you're opening the kennel up for that can come here for help.
Now, I've never heard of this before, but you mentioned kitten season? What is that?
Kitten season is when shelters see an influx of kittens. In our area, it's anywhere between March and April all the way to September, October, but weather plays a huge part in it. So the longer it stays warm, the longer we will see kittens because it's breeding season.
How do you determine which animals need to go to a foster home as opposed to those that don't?
Well, anything underage, which is under 8 weeks, like Sandy Cheeks here, or puppies, they go to foster because legally they can't be adopted until they're 8 weeks old. But we do have medical fosters, animals recovering from upper respiratory infections, animals recovering from surgery. They need a place to crash for a while, so they're always good foster candidates. And then there's always the under-socialized cats and dogs who would just benefit from some human interaction until they're ready to be adopted.
Do you need additional foster homes right now?
Always. We are always looking for fosters, and you can check out our website at harfordshelter.org and click on the foster page, and that'll answer some of your questions, and you can fill out an application there. But if there are any questions that the website doesn't answer for you, you can always reach out to me at foster@harfordshelter.org, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Bridget, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for bringing this adorable little kitten, and wouldn't you love to have her as part of your home? Just adorable.
She's pretty perfect.
Well, are you interested in volunteering at the Humane Society? If so, stick around. We'll have all the details on how you can do that next. Katie Haynes is the volunteer coordinator here at the Humane Society. She's been here a couple of months. Now, what is it like to volunteer during the pandemic, and what are the volunteers responsible for? Katie has those answers. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Christy.
Now, Katie, I understand that you started at the Humane Society just a couple months before the shutdown. That must be hard starting a new job, especially a volunteer coordinator, where volunteers can't come in.
It's definitely been very interesting. The volunteer coordinator position is a very people-oriented job, and without the volunteers here, it's been kind of quiet. I've definitely made the best of it, though. You know, all the interactions have to be virtual, so keeping people engaged has been it's taken some creativity. I have been able to work with the animal care staff, kind of cross-training with them. So that's been nice. I've been able to learn how to work with the animals, and that'll be good. Once the volunteers do come back, I have that experience to train them.
Now, you said you had to get really creative to keep the people engaged. How are you doing that?
So you have to get creative with keeping people engaged for something that's, you know, they have such a sense of community here.
Right.
Trying to make that community virtual. So it doesn't translate always, but we do as much as we can. So I've been trying to keep them engaged through Facebook. We have a Facebook page, which is nice. I've been able to post pictures of the animals, you know, show adoption, stuff like that, keep them updated through that. We have a monthly newsletter, so that's been kind of nice, keeping them updated. We do Volunteer of the Month. I've also been able to send them some materials on things they can do at home for the animals.
How old does somebody need to be to volunteer? And if they're young, do they need to have a parent or guardian come in with them?
Yeah, so they have to be 12 to volunteer, and they do have to come with a parent. So the parent applies with them and does a whole separate application, and then the parent has to be with them the whole time that they're volunteering, which is just a safety measure for everyone.
Obviously, the volunteerism jobs would be different from someone that's 12 as opposed to someone that's 18. Can you explain?
They are. So 12-year-olds can work with our small animals, rabbits, guinea pigs, some lizards, and they can also work with our cats. So, and then at the point where they turn 16, you can work at our off-site events. Yeah.
What are the volunteers responsible for? What are some of the jobs that you give them?
So our volunteers are kind of in every aspect of the shelter. Of course, they work with the cats and dogs, but we also have the small animals, like I said, rabbits, guinea pigs, any small animals. We also have farm animals from time to time, so having people with that experience is really nice. They also do administrative support, sometimes working with our front desk staff, answering phones. We also have volunteers who do transport. They'll transport animals to their vet appointments, sometimes to rescues. We also have volunteers who work with adoption staff, so they help with adoptions actually. And we of course have off-site event volunteers who help with those things.
Are you accepting any new volunteers right now?
Not right now. Unfortunately, we're still closed to volunteers. We can't have them in the building, so it's kind of tough to train them. There's certain things you just can't do over Zoom, like animal care training. So yeah, we're close to volunteers right now.
What does someone need to do if they want to be a volunteer? I know you said an application needs to be filled out.
Yeah, so once we do reopen, our application will be through our website, harfordshelter.org. On the volunteer page, you'll be able to actually apply through the website, and then that application will come to me. I'll review it, and then we can get them set up for an orientation.
Now, Katie, I know you have some props with you. Some of the ways that people can help animals from home. Can you explain?
So yeah, there are a lot of do-it-yourself enrichment toys you can make. A couple of those, I have a PVC dog feeder toy. It's just a piece of PVC with a little screw top, and there's a couple holes drilled in. So you just pour food in there, and the dogs can nose it around, play with it. I also have a cat scratch board just made out of cardboard rolled up with a little bit of glue inside. So that's also another easy one. A third one I have, this one's super simple. You take your favorite sock, just tie a little piece of string, and yeah, you can fill it with polyfill and a little bit of catnip, and cats go crazy for this. I actually have a booklet I made that I can send to anyone if they just email me at volunteer@harfordshelter.org. It has tons of ideas for different things you can do at home. Other ways you can help, just share our Facebook posts, stuff like that. Just getting the word out is really helpful.
Well, Katie, you said creative ways, and I can't think of anything more creative than that. So those are some great ideas. Now, coming up next, what do you do if you find a lost pet? And what about if you're thinking about adopting an animal? What steps do you need to take? That's straight ahead. Kelly O'Connor is the adoptions manager here at the Humane Society. So if you're thinking about adding a new addition to your home, Kelly is going to tell us how we can do that. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Kelly, since you're the adoptions manager, I'd love to hear about how you're handling adoptions during the pandemic.
So we're doing adoptions by appointment only. Everybody's looking at our website. If they see animals that they're interested in, we would then email them the link to our application. They send it back, we process it, and then we schedule them for an appointment.
What advice do you have for someone looking to adopt an animal?
I would definitely say you want to consider your lifestyle before choosing a pet. Make sure you're choosing an animal that fits with your activity level, how far you have to travel for work, how long you're going to be at work during the day, and pick an animal that really fits that lifestyle.
How can we prepare our home or get them acclimated to our home once they first arrive?
Well, you definitely want to make sure you get all the necessities. So crate if you're getting a dog, food bowl, water bowl, toys, a nice bed for them, litter box if you're getting a cat. And when you bring them in, you just really want to give them time to kind of settle in. You don't want to be introducing them to lots of new people, new things, new animals. Just really spend that first couple of weeks, which is what we call the shutdown period. Spend that first couple of weeks really bonding with them, making them part of your family, and then you can start showing them the world once you guys have that bond with each other.
Now, another big responsibility that you have, I understand your department handles the lost and found registry for Harford County. So what do we do if we lost a pet or found a pet?
First things first, you want to contact the shelter right away. You can either call us or email us, and then we can check the animals that we have in our shelter to see if we have any that match your missing pet, or you can go onto our website and check as well, because we have them up on the website as soon as they're put into our system. After that, you want to contact animal control, make sure that they're on the lookout for your missing pet, put flyers up at any local vet offices, animal emergency hospitals, and you also want to contact surrounding shelters, because although they are supposed to come here to Harford County, a person may pick up an animal and take them somewhere that they're familiar, so a shelter where they live. So you want to let everybody know.
When a stray pet comes in, how long do you hold that pet for?
It depends on what kind of animal it is. In Harford County, if a dog comes in as a stray, the standard stray hold is 4 days, not counting the day they arrive, any Sunday or holiday within that 4-day period. But if they're wearing a county dog license, the hold is 8 days. So we can also look into that license, figure out who the owner is that way. So that would be 8 days, not counting any Sunday or holiday falling in within that time frame. For cats and all other animals, it's 3 days, not counting the day they arrive.
Now, we talked about this in a previous interview about microchipping. In your opinion, why is it so important?
It's the most important thing that you can do. If your pet goes missing, it's a 100% way of people knowing it's your animal, your information is attached to that microchip, and we can call you right away and get your pet back with you. And watching people be reunited with their pets is one of the best things that happens here.
Now, do you have a particular story or a particular instance that stands out in your mind, someone reuniting with their pet?
We actually had, it might have been 6 or 8 months ago, we had a gentleman whose dog was lost probably 2 months before the dog came into the shelter. He had no idea where the dog was. He had put up flyers. He did everything that he was supposed to do. And one day the dog was just brought into the shelter. It was microchipped, so we got his information. We were able to contact him right away, and the reunion in the lobby between the two of them, the dog went ballistic. He was so excited and jumping all over the guy, and the guy was crying. So it was really nice after such a long time to be able to bring them back together.
And Kelly, one final question. Why adopt?
Because it saves lives.
Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for all the information. I mean, who wouldn't love a new addition to the family?
Absolutely.
Now, the Humane Society is responsible for the well-being and care of over 3,500 animals. If you would like to foster, adopt, or learn more about how you can volunteer your services, you can visit them at harfordshelter.org. I'm Christy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.